Everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the altcoin show, coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel today, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to talk about one of the big underperformers of this bull run so far and what maybe comes next. And then also one of the big overperformers of this bull run and what possibly may also come next for this coin. The two different contrasting paths that have been taken by these two altcoins. I should call this the tale of two altcoins. But before we do all of that and look at the charts, smash that like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel, of course. And thank you so much for all the kind words and encouraging words that people leave, that you'll leave in the comments section. You take the time to write it. I take the time to read it. Much appreciated. And of course, those of you who ask questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to. However, if you'd like more immediate and direct access to engage with me, you can do so in the Stocks with Josh Discord. I am in there in the crypto channel, engaging with some of the most amazing people on the planet. There's also a stocks channel. There's meme coin channel, aka the party zone, a bunch of other channels as well. And of course, I have my own Crown Traders channel in there as well, where I share education, insights, some resources, some of my trade setups, and of course, some entertainment, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And don't forget to follow me on X. Right below the Discord links, there is my X link there as well. You can find me posting a bunch of education and entertainment there. You can follow me there at Crypto Coins 365, and also I do giveaways. There are people that are randomly selected there. If you're following there, you can possibly get notified that you'll be getting a giveaway. Can't give away to everybody, but we do choose people there. That's how I find you, so make sure you're following me there. Okay, so as you can see here, I did this poll in the Discord, and even despite all of the historical data that January after a halving year, there's always been a dump, and that it's always been around 20 to 35%, we still had there, this was a warning signal for me, and I was selling the pump. I was selling this latest pump. I was taking profits off the table in anticipation of what I felt was coming next. And certainly it did come, and it did come before January the 10th. So only 8% of people thought it was going to come before January the 10th. That's a whopping 90% of the market that didn't think that the January drop was going to be happening, even though, you know, when we come down to here, the January drop historically had happened more often. There was only one time it didn't happen in the first part of January, and that was the 24th of January, all the way back in 2013. Otherwise, it's come. The lows were in on the 1st, the 4th, and by the latest, the 12th. And then, of course, the drops happened on the 5th and the 3rd and the 8th. And so, the market didn't bottom out until the 12th or the 22nd on those subsequent 2017 and 2021 drops. Okay, so being, you know, in the space and understanding, I was here when in January 2021. So I bought those dips. And then I was able to sell the pumps, subsequent pumps in February, March, and April before there was a drop in April. And the April drop was around mid to late April, and it lasted through, I believe it bottomed out around June. There was a 2-month of drop where Bitcoin dropped from 65,000 all the way down to about 28, 29,000, scared the pants off a lot of people, including me. And then after it bottomed out in June, it went sideways for a month through to mid-July, and then in July it flew from July through to about mid-September for 2 months, incredible pumps, and then we saw another further correction before we saw 2 more months of upside in October and November. So that's what I'm trying to share with you. Now, some of the altcoins topped on the April peak, and then there was a dump, and some of those altcoins never recovered. Some of the altcoins topped in September. So there were some that got left behind in April and never recovered, and that was it. That was the end of the road. If you bought the May and June dips, you were in for a nasty surprise because there was no further pumps for those coins. So just be wary of that. Some that did pump after the May, June, July drop and pumped from July to September, some of those found their tops in September. So there was a bunch more that got left behind in September of 2021 and never again pumped or recovered. And if you bought those September dips, you would be again for a very nasty surprise, because they never pumped again. They were just dips that kept dipping. And then of course the last of the altcoins found their tops in November when Bitcoin found its top. And then of course there was the capitulation down into the bear market. Now, I am over the next couple of days going to share when I do think. I know before I've said I think it's going to top sometime between May and November. I am actually going to give a month. So stay tuned for that video. I'm going to give a bunch of predictions for 2025. And I'm also going to share a separate video with Bitcoin top signals and where I feel we could then find a market cycle top. But that's just for Bitcoin. That's not for maybe one of your favorite altcoins there, okay? Now, speaking of altcoins, what has been one of the big disappointments? Before we actually get to that, let's just go to here. Filicone, warning, massive bull market incoming soon. You're about to get very rich. In both 2017 and 2021, a shakeout occurred in January, then a massive rally till the end of March, which this is what makes this poll even all the more interesting, that there were a large number of people that felt there would not be a drop in January at all, even though historically there has always been the case. Okay, so that we see here that there was a drop in January of 2017, of course, another drop in January of 2021. And of course, we had a drop in 2013 as well. It's 3 for 3, and now we're going to be 4 for 4 in January as well. And is the shakeout finished? Go and see my video earlier from today, my Bitcoin, where I share my thoughts about whether I feel if the dump is over now and whether we're going to push on for the rest of January, or I still think there's possible some drops in play. So check that out. Okay, so let's have a look at one of the bigger underperformance, and it is Ethereum. And this is the frustrating thing, is the Ethereum Foundation sold more Ethereum 25 minutes ago, but they've sold a total of 4,566 Ethereum, 12.96 since January the 2nd. These guys are just literally laughing at you as they're dumping on you if you're an Ethereum holder. I think this is just disgraceful. And the problem that I have had with Ethereum, as well as some of the other tokens, is an uncapped supply. What does that mean? It means that Ethereum has no max supply. Bitcoin has a max supply of 21 million. Tau has a fixed supply of 21 million. Sui has a fixed supply. Banana Gun has a fixed supply. HNT has a fixed supply. They cannot add to the supply. Imagine if you're at home, you're Ethereum Foundation going, oh, I just like some more money. You're just like the US government. Let's print some. Let's print some Ethereum today. Oh, printed a bunch of Ethereum. Oh, let's just dump it now on the market. And so, if you look at Ethereum, please help me. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Why are you in Ethereum? Since 2021 of December, you would have been better to have been in Bitcoin. It is absolutely dumped against Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is, you go in altcoins because you'll think, oh, I'm going to make more money being in Ethereum. Ethereum has gone nowhere as opposed to Bitcoin. It's only just created lower lows and lower highs. Now, if we go down here and we actually see the cost, it's a whopping 65% drop against the price of Bitcoin. That's just unbelievable in a bull market. However, if you've held this long, oh my gosh, if you've held this long, my word, you really have missed out. And at some point, historically, Ethereum has very bullish time between this month, January, it begins to take off, through to about March or April. So you've held Ethereum for 3 years just for a couple of month pump. And how high is it going to go? Look, it could get to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And you've made a whopping, now look, I was very public on the Discord, and I got a little bit of heat about it because the ETF had recently come out, but I saw a lot of weakness. Bitcoin, after it got the ETF, there was a bit of a sell the news, but then it went parabolic. ETH did the opposite. Why? It's obvious. Nobody can print more Bitcoin. No one can print Bitcoin and dump it on the supply like the Ethereum Foundation can do to the sorry ETH holders that have faithfully held. And I think, obviously we've seen it break below this wedge here, which is even worse here. We've seen a break below this wedge. It's lost the support line. And have we found a bottom? I don't know. We could go lower here down to these levels down here for Ethereum. Now, listen, all this to say, in August, $3,400 was the price of Ethereum. And before we had the August dump, I sold every single last shred of it. Gone. And where did I put it into? I put it into Sui, which was under $1. Since then, Sui has gone over $5. So while the ETH holders have been sitting there looking at Ethereum at pretty much the same price as what it was back in August, there, less than $33.50. Meanwhile, Sui is over 800% higher, or was up as high as 850, 900% more. The tale of two coins, okay? One, and this is where the opportunity costs come in. And there's always going to be people, what's going to happen in the next couple of months. All these ETH people are going to be sharing their portfolio in some way, trying to justify their bad investment decision to have stayed in ETH for that long. Because while now you've stayed in this long, you wouldn't sell, would you? You wouldn't sell. Like at this point, you'd be like, I know if I sell now, it's going to pump. And not only have I lost 3 years of possible 500, 600, 800, 900% investment in other tokens, but now I'm also missing out on this ETH pump that is going to come up. Or is it? There? I do think that ETH is going to have its day. It's going to have its moment. However, as you can see, it has been a very poor performing asset. Now, look, if you happen to get in around 800, you could argue, okay, right, there's been a 400% pump. And look, I did get in just around in between, around 1,300 to 1,700. I got in ETH, probably a bit lower actually, because I was in the ETH Grayscale Trust, and I did get it probably around these low prices here because it was selling at a discount. I made about actually 700 on that pump. So I actually probably got it a lot lower. If you don't understand how the Grayscale Trust used to work, you could actually buy ETH and Bitcoin at a discount. That's how I picked up Bitcoin at $11,000, and I picked up Ethereum at around about, I believe it was about $500, even though on the exchanges it was trading at $800. Of course, I wasn't doing a YouTube channel there, but if I had been, I would have helped you get on that trade as well. That was a huge alpha trade that made me some good money for both Ethereum and Bitcoin there. Okay, so let's talk about Ethereum from here, and let's look at the charts. Now, at the moment, we're below the 50-day moving average, and we still have the 20 EMA on the monthly time frame, my word. So we're going to switch to the daily time frame here. And okay, so what are we looking at for a lot of altcoins? And this is what I want you to look at all your altcoins. I've got 5 moving averages here, and this is how you're going to really look and see where each of your altcoins are at. We've got the blue one, which is the 50-day moving average. We've got the purple one, which is the 20 EMA on the daily. The dark purple one, which is the 50 EMA on the daily. Now, the lower one being above the higher one is good. If it crosses below, that's usually a sell signal on any time frame, by the way. And then we've got the 100 moving average crossing over the 200 EMA on the daily, and then the 200 simple moving average. We have lost 3 of these moving averages. So we're 3 out of 6. And we do have the ones lower. So any further dump Ethereum, we could see that come down to 3,125. And remember, I am not saying to anybody to be selling Ethereum at these levels, because historically Ethereum has done well in February and March, and sometimes bleeding into a little bit of April. Okay. So however, I did say that I was selling back in August of last year, and September and October. There could have been good times to have reduced or sold out completely that position. And maybe look, if you do feel you're too highly leveraged into Ethereum, maybe you could de-risk a little bit there. But I'm certainly, if I had Ethereum, and I do have ETH, I do have a little bit of ETH that I kind of forgot about actually by accident. I'm not selling that because I do feel Ethereum is going to have a pump from here. There is a cup and handle that if it plays out should get up to about 5,400, maybe as high as 7,000. And so I'm going to hold that ETH position for the moment. But I am just pointing out the importance of being in the right tokens at the right time in a bull run, and just not blindly holding a token for years and years while it continues to be in a downtrend against a much stronger performing asset. Okay, so there are the levels there: 31.26, 31.30. These would be levels that I would be looking at personally for Ethereum to hold if it comes down to here. And maybe you even want to add to your ETH bags to average down your position. It pains me to say this, but I think sometimes when you've held an asset for this long, for 3 years, and a massive downtrend against Bitcoin, probably now is not the right time to sell. However, a pump back to these $4,000 levels, if you are a massive holder of ETH, maybe de-risking some of that may not be a bad idea there. Of course, I do think eventually it's going to go up to over $5,000. I do believe Ethereum is going to set a new all-time high. I do just believe that there are better opportunities in other tokens and faster moving cars. Now let's look as opposed to, so if you look at where Ethereum has gone from that time in August where I did pull the trigger and sell here in August, just around before the sell-off in August. So it actually might have been just in late July here. There it was here in late July before the August dump, and there was a dump leading into that around this $3,400 level. I actually sold here at around 3,900. I sold more here around 36, 37, and then I got rid of all of it at 34. And then I was able to buy the Sui dip. And I do still think Sui is going to get to $25 in 2025. So I still think actually Sui is going to outperform Ethereum from here, by the way. But it's more risky because this is the pump that has happened. So I rolled all of my Ethereum into Sui around these levels here. And this is where I was telling people to look at these moving averages there. Now look at the chart of Sui where you're 6 for 6 for Sui. Okay, you're basically above every single moving average. Or actually, are we? Have we lost the 20 EMA? That's debatable. It's right on it, but we are above every single major moving average all the way down to the 200 simple at $2.10, the 200 EMA at $2.61, the 100 simple at $3.23, and then we have the 50-day EMA at $4.10 and the 50-day moving average at $4.15. That would be an area there where I have my buy orders for Sui. If it was to drop down further there, I could see this dropping down to these lower levels here. Now, these moving averages may be a little bit higher by the time it gets down there. If it gets down there, it could be up at $4.17, $4.20. So I probably got my buy order just a little bit higher, and each day I have to move it up just a little bit there. But you just see the opportunity cost, the tail of two coins. Really, ETH, which is much inferior technology, it's slow, it's expensive, it needs layer twos to actually function and operate. And then, of course, Sui, which is built on the new Move programming language, is the fastest, cheapest, most scalable blockchain that there is. And you can see the meteoric rise. And so I do see, and this could be a little good buy the dip opportunity there, by the way, if Bitcoin behaves itself and we do see some higher highs and higher lows. This could obviously be where you obviously see here, there's a higher high, and now this is a higher low here. So if we don't lose this low, where I would want to watch for Sui is the low of $3.94 made on the 30th of December. And this is the same with Bitcoin, if you've seen my Bitcoin video from earlier today. So the important things is really to be in the right altcoins at the right time to position your portfolio for the parabolic phase of this bull run. I do believe this is the shakeout before the breakout. How long and how deep this shakeout will go, please see my Bitcoin video from earlier today, and I share some insights there. But until the next episode, happy trading.